Hi everybody, this is Jackie Morey. Today's word for the day is the word vision. What is vision? Well, before I define that, I want to share a quick story that will illustrate my point here. This is an old story that you might have heard, but for those of you who haven't, this is really cool. And those of you who have, it's still very cool to remember it and to think about it. About 800 years ago, there was a traveler who was traveling through a town, and he saw a group of workers, and most of them were masons. And the traveler approached a group of 3 men, and the traveler asked the first mason, "Dear fellow, what is it that you're doing?" The first mason, hardly looking up, he said, and he even grumbled, he said, "I am chipping away at this stupid rock." I don't like to say the word, but anyway, I'm chipping away at this blank rock, and I can't wait till 5 o'clock hits so I can go home. And so, noticing that the first mason wasn't really wanting to engage in further conversation, the traveler walked over to the second mason, and he asked that tradesman, "Dear fellow, what is it you're doing here?" And the second one had a little bit better attitude. And so he said, "Well, I am working hard and chipping away at this granite block so that it can be part of a wall." So the traveler, still curious to find out what it is that they were doing, really, exactly, he walked over to the third mason, and he asked the same question. He said, Dear sir, what is it that you're doing here?" And the third mason said, first he wiped off the sweat from his brow, and then he stood up and he looked at the traveler, and he looked upward at the sky, and he said, "Well, dear sir, I am building a cathedral. I am building a cathedral." Check that out. That is vision. 3 men doing the same exact job. They had 3 different attitudes. The third one, I would like to propose to you, had a much bigger vision. The first one, he was ready to go home. The second one, he was working hard, but all he could see was he was just building a wall, and that was all he could see. The third one, he said, "I am building a cathedral." He knew how important his block of granite was. He knew how important that was and how well he needed to do his work and to really develop mastery, which was the word from a previous video, to develop mastery so that his block could build a wall, and that wall, and he could continue building more blocks, that wall would eventually become a cathedral. So let's define vision, because the 3 men, as I've said, had 3 different attitudes, 3 different visions. Vision, the first definition is something you can picture or imagine in your mind. Something you can picture or imagine in your mind. The third one, obviously, could picture in his mind, and as he looked skyward, could picture the cathedral that he was helping to build. The second definition of vision is guidance. Interesting, huh? I looked it up in an online dictionary and also some blogs, and they said that vision could also mean guidance. The last but not least definition of vision is a vivid mental image, especially one of the future. A vivid mental image, especially one of the future. Now you can tell that the third mason definitely had the biggest, most accurate vision of what he was doing. He had a vivid mental image of what he was doing and how his particular block and whatever other blocks that he was going to, with mastery, build and chip off would be part of this grand cathedral. So let me ask you, do you have a vision that's bigger than just your generation, a vision that will transcend time, a vision that will really get transferred to the next generations that follow you? I want to quote somebody who was the wealthiest and wisest man known to man. And he lived from 990 BC to 931 BC, and I'm talking about the man whose name was Solomon. And here is his quote: "Where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Another translation says, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Right? The people cast off restraint. What does perish mean, and what does that have to do with casting off restraint? Well, here's what it means. Perish and casting off restraint means that people who don't have a vision will squander their time, will not have a sense of boundaries. They will lose perhaps their moral compass. That's M-O-R-A-L, their moral compass. And some would even, without a vision, get into social disorder. So the wisest and richest man, in fact, his wealth was so vast that the billionaires of today would seem like paupers compared to his wealth. Okay? The wealthiest, richest man on earth, known to man, he said this, where there is no vision, the people perish, and where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Can you just see how important and how incredibly vital and fundamental it is to have a vision that's long-term, that's bigger than yourself, that transcends your generation, and also is grand enough so that it can be transferred to the next generations? Very, very important. With vision, I really believe that your attitudes, our attitudes, your attitude, my attitude, your purpose and my purpose, and all these things get adjusted when we have that bigger long-term vision. Well, I hope you enjoyed my story today, and it is the story that people call the three masons or the three bricklayers, and some like to call it the three stonecutters. But I hope that you can take a moment during this day that people, think that the most important word today is freedom. Yes, it is, but also it's vision. Because without vision, what does freedom have to, where is your desire to have freedom and to maintain freedom? Without vision, you'll cast off restraint so that you don't move towards greater and greater levels of freedom. Freedom from perhaps your past, your emotional past. Freedom from, say, wrong mindsets. Freedom from the wrong relationships. Freedom from people that are negative, right? Not that you don't associate with them anymore. I think I lost a little bit of connection. Not that you don't associate with those people anymore, but you limit your time with people who are negative or who have not a good influence on you. So without vision, then those things will not happen. You will not want to get healed perhaps of some emotional wounds, some hurts in the past. You will not want to forgive. You will not want to let go of those things that will hold you captive and will hold you imprisoned and stay stuck. So vision is what is so vital today. I hope and desire for you that you will get a vision so that you will move towards your destiny, so that you'll move towards really fulfilling the destiny for which you were wired for, which you were created for, and for which you were given the exact specific gifts and the exact place where you were born and the exact features of your face and the exact voice that you have. So here's my parting thoughts again. As usual, I'm going to say, go and live a life of significance and leave a legendary legacy. Take care. See you soon. Bye.